students, welcome back to Digital Learning DCE. Myself Dr. Manjula S, working as Assistant Professor of Botany in Government First Grade College. In today's session, let us study about host, pathogen, symptoms, disease cycle and control measures of grain smut of sorghum. In this disease, as a result of infection by a pathogen, the whole grain get converted into smut sori, hence the name grain smut. Let us begin with the introduction. Sorghum is one of the feed grain and silage crop for livestock and which is also consumed by human beings in many parts of the world as their staple food. The grain smut of sorghum is caused by a fungus named Sphaerotheca sorgi. It is also called by another names like kernel smut, covered smut and also short smut because within a short period of time the whole grain converted into smut sori, hence the name short smut. The fungus of the smut grows in the ovaries of the plant and it replaces the whole grain with the fungal structure filled with full of spores called sori. The disease is very common in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh where the sorghum is growing. This disease causes serious loss to the crop and hence it is the most destructive one. In this diagram we can observe the healthy earhead of sorghum where here we can observe the diseased one, which is where all the grains are converted into sori of the fungus. Coming to host and pathogen of grain smut disease. The host is sorghum, which is commonly called as jowar, and the pathogen which is going to cause the grain smut disease is Sphaerotheca sorgi. The mycelium is mostly intercellular in nature without ostoria. In this case, they won't produce intracellular absorbing structure called ostoria. They are sparsely branched and they are provided with septate hyphae, which is hyaline in nature. The hyphae provided with the cross walls, hence it is septate in nature. The primary mycelium formed by the germination of basidospores enters the host through the seedling. The infection starts when the basidospore enter the seedling. Along with the seedling it grows and it starts to produce the symptom only at the stage of earhead formation. When the primary mycelium of opposite strain also happens to enter the same seedling, then this dikaryotic mycelium is formed by the fusion of the two nucleus which grows with the seedling and produces the smut sori in the ovaries at the time of inflorescence formation. Here we can observe the earhead of sorghum where as a result of infection by the pathogen it get converted into the whole ovary or seed is get converted into the sores of spores, smut spores. Hence it look like a black powdery mass. Then coming to symptoms of grain smut disease. Here the fungus mainly infect the ovary. I mean to say the symptoms are mainly restricted to the inflorescence or ovaries where all grains of sorghum are replaced by smut sori. The normal grain is thus replaced by an oval or cylindrical, dirty grey, sac-like structure with slightly conical tip. Here we can observe the healthy sorghum seeds as a result of pathogen infection. They all get converted into smut sori where we can observe some conical like structures, slightly conical tape where glooms are unaltered and found attached to the sides of the sori. The sori measure about 0.4 to 1.3 centimeter long and 0.2 to 0.4 centimeter wide. They contains number of spores which are either globose, circular to oval in shape. They are dark brown in color. They are with smooth walls and these spores are measure about 5 to 9 microns in their diameter. The unusual symptoms are sometimes also observed where individual spikelets or whole inflorescence may be missing in smutted panicles. They won't look, inflorescence itself not identified when the whole spores get converted into sori. The panicle being reduced to a few twisted, distorted branches covered with large superficial smut sori. So the main symptom of grain smut of sorghum is where the whole inflorescence get converted into sori of the fungus. Coming to disease cycle and the means of spread of the disease. The telospore are seed-borne. The infected spores which are produced in the last season, the spores are present inside the seed itself. So that's why they are seed-borne. Teleospores are seed-borne. They start to germinate within the seed if it is used to plant for next following season. So seedling plants become infected where the pathogen grows within the seedling. In case of seedling, when it is going to attack the seedling through the soil, the spores which are present in the soil, in that case the pathogen grows within the sorghum plant. As the plant matures, they enter into the meristematic region and thus invades the floral tissue. The mature fungal fruiting structures are going to be formed called sori, which is in later stage rupture and releases number of teleospores which are ready to infect another host plant, and they also infect the seed on another plant. In this case, the primary infection is externally seed-borne and it is systemic. The seed-borne infection is always going to infect the whole plant, but the symptom restricted only to the inflorescence, whereas the secondary infection is always wind-borne spores, wind-borne sporedia or wind-borne spores which carried away through winds. When they fall on the new host, they start germinate and again produce new sora in that new plant. Then coming to control measure of the disease, since smut disease is externally seed-borne, they are easily and effectively controlled by treating the seeds with a protecting fungicides and also with 0.5% formalin for 2 hours or with 0.5% to 3% copper sulfate for 3 to 15 minutes. So before sowing the seeds, if that particular seed carry the inoculum or pathogen spores, we have to treat the seeds before sowing with certain fungicides like copper sulfate and also formalin, so that we can destruct the spores present inside the seeds. So healthy plant can be raised. Hence, seed treatment is one of the effective method in controlling the smut of sorghum. Then seed treatment with Capton and Therum is also effective in controlling the disease. These are another fungicides which are used to treat the seeds. Field sanitation is also one of the important methods used to control the disease, where we are going to remove and burn the infected earheads, or we can also bury the infected earheads with sori deep in the soil, which can reduce the disease incidence. Then next management practice is crop rotation. So crop rotation is a culture of growing different plants in different seasons, so that since this Basilotheca is host specific, it can't infect another plant. That's why in the next season we should not repeat the same crop, so that the spores which are present in the soil, they are going to lose their viability, so that the spore load can be reduced, and when we crop the sorghum plant, the incidence of the disease can be decreased. Then the next management practice to control the disease is solar energy treatment for 4 hours. So since the soil is exposed to the sun rays, so that the spores present in the soil can lose their viability, so that the disease can be controlled by this method also, solar energy treatment. Then the last method of controlling the disease is sulfur dust application and use of clean and disease-free seeds for plantation. Since the disease is seed borne, before sowing the seeds, we should select clean and disease-free seeds which are free from smut sori, can also reduce the disease incidence to certain extent. So with this, I am going to sum up the session with following points, where grain smut of sorghum is the most destructive disease, very common in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, where sorghum is growing. It is caused by a fungus, Bacillothica sorgi, where symptoms appear at the grain formation stage. Fungus infects the ovaries. Mainly it is going to attack the ovaries, where all the grains of the sorghum are replaced by smut sori, which is filled with black color spores. The teleospores are seed borne, which are going to infect the seedling, and they will germinate within the seed if it is used to plant for the following season. So primary infection is externally seed borne and systemic in nature, whereas the secondary infection spread through blowing wind, through which the spores are carried from one place to another place. So for management the disease, controlling the disease, we have to practice seed treatment with fungicides, field sanitation, that is removal of the infected ear heads and burn them or buried them in a deep soil, and use of disease-free seeds is the main control measure since the disease is seed-borne. Crop rotation and sun drying is also one of the methods which are helpful in controlling the disease. With this, I am going to conclude the session. For following for further details about the current topic, you can refer the following references. Thank you.